Hello everyone, it's the first video in my grow space. It's warm enough out that I have the garage doors open. Pardon my voice, I'm losing it, getting over a cough. But I wanted to do a little video on the Justicias. I like Justicias because they're really hardy and they're super tropical. Now, when I say they're really hardy, what I mean is they're tough. They're not necessarily cold hardy. Justicias go down to about zone 8 or so, and they really don't like much frost. And the Justicias are more commonly known as the Mexican shrimp plants. This right here is the most common of the Mexican shrimp plants. This is the golden shrimp or lollipop plant. And it actually is not a Justicia, but it is commonly sold as a Justicia. But this one is actually Pachystachys. Pachystachys lutea, I believe. Lutea meaning gold. Care requirements and everything is about the same. So it's all good. These people call them whatever they want to. Shrimp plants. They have similar growth habits as far as their needs go. These are said to only be hardy about zone 9A and up, so all the way through 11 and higher. But there are reports of this growing in Birmingham, Alabama, and other areas of Alabama that are zone 7B. And I believe that because I've been growing these for several years, and they overwinter here in my garage, which I've transformed into my grow space. And it averages, these always get a little bit of frost before I bring them in. It's never killed them. So I would believe that you could grow these in Zone 7B with protection. They're nice plants. They bloom throughout almost all of the year. The Pachystachys, the lollipop, does get really leggy. So this is my more mature Pachystachys Mexican shrimp plant. I've had this one for several years, and it is getting very leggy. You can see it's not even standing up straight. So that's okay. These are so easy to prune. You cut them back about 2/3 of the way and they regrow into a nice lower, full, and healthier looking plant. And I will probably hold off on doing that pruning for me until spring when it has an active growth spurt. This has been just about hardened off and ready to be overwintered. So I'm not going to cut it back just yet, but we'll see how it does. It should be fine. This is not a Justicia, this is a Pachystachys, but for the sake of this video is about Justicias, and these have very similar requirements. But I do believe the Pachystachys can take a little bit more sun than some of the Justicias, but I could be wrong. I've only grown a couple of Justicias, and they have done well for me in part sun to pretty dim shade, but you get much better flowers when you give them some sun. 4 to 6 hours, probably, I would say, and that's going to depend on how far south you are. One of my favorite things about the Justice are these flowers. Now, pardon the lighting, those red glow lights, they're hard to record under, but hummingbirds love Justicias. You can see this is the flower bract, really, and the real flowers are emerging from inside, and they're tubes, tiny little tubes. They don't open very wide, and it's just right for the hummingbirds to stick their beaks in and get a nice drink. So that's one of the main reasons I grow this, is for the hummingbirds. They absolutely love these plants. There are several hundred varieties of Justicias, and with each one, there's going to be slightly different requirements. This is Hollandi, I believe. Okay, focus. Hollanda. Very pretty flowers on this. I've had this one for a while. It's not a super fast grower, but it doesn't get very big. And 12 to 24 inches is about the typical size you'll see on most Justicias. But they're excellent because they're non-invasive. They need watering, obviously. They're a tropical plant. Not an arid growing plant, but they like moisture, but not to be soaking wet. And these are the buds on this one. So it's just starting to open, and these get pretty big, and they're very pink. The flowers really do look very similar to this picture here. Okay. Another variety of Justicia that I really like, the common name for it is Brazilian fireworks. And mine is going out of flowers, so it's not the most attractive thing right now. And it's kind of roughed up from bringing it inside. The transport on the dolly with these ceramic pots is kind of rough. But, you know, this is a fresher bud. They have kind of variegated leaves. They have these nice silver stripe that comes through the leaf here. That's not really variegation. But these stay smaller. These are really good indoors because this is 3 or 4 years old and it's not very big. Here's my hand. So they're easy to propagate through clippings. These make a nice foreground plant, and this particular Justicia, the Brazilian fireworks, does well in shade. It does much better in shade for me than the other ones do. They all are good for shade, but this one I've just noticed seems to need more shade. And these nice pink flowers put out purple. The pink flowers put out purple bracts. And I'll insert a picture up here so you can see what a nice healthy one looks like, but this is probably one of my favorite ones. If I lived someplace tropical, I would definitely have these in the foreground of my garden in certain spots because the contrast between the leaves and the flowers is beautiful when they're in tip-top shape. Okay, and this variety of Justicia, I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called like Limelight, maybe. They have pale green flowers with pale green bracts with nice pink flowers, and I really like the inflorescence on this. It's not, you know, super vivid, but I really like the contrast. It's almost orchid-like. Not quite that cool though. So yeah, I really like these plants. I think they're worth giving a try if you live someplace where you can grow them outdoors. You have a nice partly shaded area. They're fantastic. The flowers range from, you can have these spiky flowers. And you can see these flowers don't look anything like the picture on the Hollanda that I just showed before that was in the pot outdoors. This is a much smaller flower. These can get pretty big. This is small. I started this one from a cutting in June. It's probably a couple feet tall already. So they grow quick, but they don't take over. You do need to probably cut them back once a year if you live someplace tropical. They're great plants. I recommend giving them a try. They do make good house plants. I'm unaware of the toxicity. That's something to look up anytime you bring a plant into the house. You don't want your dogs or cats eating something that's not good for them. I generally assume almost anything that I bring in the house is bad for the pets to eat. So that's why I keep these outside in my garage instead of in the house where I have way too many cats. 6 of them. Okay, so just a quick rundown of everything I just said. The Justicias and the Pachystachys are easy to grow plants. They're good for indoors or outdoors from zone 8A all the way up through zone 11. They like light shade. They are evergreen. The neutral to mildly acidic soil pH is good for them. If you have alkaline dirt, you might want to amend it a little bit. That's pretty much the case with most plants that are from tropical rainy areas. They don't need to be watered a ton, but regularly, just like a normal house plant. You know, that's going to vary from condition to condition. I can't really tell you how much to water your plant, but, you know, don't let them dry out for more than a couple of days. Yeah, nice, easy plant. 2 to 4 feet tall, and they pretty much bloom year-round. They're short breaks in between their blooming cycles, and when they have the short break, this is a good time to go ahead and cut them back. And then when they rebloom, they'll have lots of more growing tips to put their flowers on. Yeah. Excellent plants. Happy gardening, everybody.